you ask me, one of the reasons why this may be taking place is because, you know, we have a descendant of slave owners, somebody who Larry Elder believes should have gotten reparations, Joe Biden himself, whose ancestors owned enslaved people, a genealogist said, with the authors arguing that it is fairly common for Americans with colonial era roots to have enslaved people connected in their family's history. No shit. That's why they owe us reparations. Bannerman
video disturbing.
Yeah, I voted for Biden and I messed up. It's nothing wrong with saying you messed up.
Yeah, I voted for Biden and I messed up. Yeah, I voted for Biden and I messed up. It's nothing wrong with saying you messed up.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
You ain't black.
Where did you get that information from?
Joe Biden was speaking with the Washington Post, and they talked about a bunch of different topics. I want to focus on one section in particular that does not look very good. So they said at the time, again, 2007, after a lengthy critique of Bush administration education policies, Biden attempted to explain why some schools perform better than others. For instance, in Iowa as compared to Washington, D.C. And here's what Joe Biden said. There's less than 1% of the population of Iowa that is African American. There's probably less than 4 or 5% that are minorities. What is in Washington? So look, it goes back to what you start off with, what you're dealing with. When you have children coming from dysfunctional homes, when you have children coming from homes where there's no books, where the mother from the time they're born doesn't talk to them, as opposed to the mother in Iowa who's sitting out there and talks to them, the kid starts out with a 300-word larger vocabulary at age 3. Half this education gap exists before the kid steps foot in the classroom.
Where'd you get it from, buddy?
Where did you get that information from?
You don't do
Yeah, what up? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get into the content. So this video is a follow-up video to the video that I just posted about Haiti. And this is the White House press secretary, Jen, I think her last name is Peshke or something like that. And it says, White House pressed on disturbing images of Border Patrol officers. So if you recall, I just read an article from USA Today about what was going on at the border and the alleged use of whips with Border Patrol agents on horses. So now we will listen to what this idiot has to say.
On horseback using what appear to be whips on Haitian migrants. Does the administration view that as an appropriate tactic? Can you speak to it? There are people who are upset.
Yeah, understandably so. I've seen some of the footage. I don't have the full context. I can't imagine what context would make that appropriate, but I don't have additional details. And certainly, I don't have additional context. April, I don't think anyone's seen that footage.
You know what's crazy? She always has to circle back and she never has an appropriate context. I really have to ask, did Peg Bundy, the actual redhead dimwit, who was designated redhead dimwit by Al Bundy, the founder of No Ma'am, is that who we have as our press secretary? Is that who Joe Biden picked as the press secretary? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know.
Think it was acceptable or appropriate.
I want to follow up on the question about Haitians and specifically these photos that are surfacing on Border Patrol agents. Seemingly
Look at this. Look at this. Now, we all know that the United States has a planned influx of immigrants, but look at how it treats certain immigrants. Look at this. It's like the movies from back in the day, Cowboys and Indians. These people get off on this.
I know you said that there's no context that it would be seen as inappropriate. So the question really is, why would this be happening under the Biden administration? Is this going to stop? What would I wonder, sort of what are going to be
The reason why it would happen under the Biden administration is because there's no difference between the Biden administration and the Trump administration. When you're dealing with Republicans and Democrats who are two competing ideologies of white supremacy, this is what you're going to get, end result from both wings of the government.
consequences if what we're seeing is what we're seeing?
I mean, Yamiche, it's all good questions. We just saw this footage. It's horrible to watch. I just have to get more information on it. Again, April.
She gets flustered so easy. I mean, you know, it's just it's very interesting how flustered she gets.
I don't have more information on it. I've also seen the video. I can't imagine what the scenario is where that would be appropriate. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but we've just seen the footage earlier this morning.
On the photo, I know you said that you're still assessing it, but just to add, if this is what we see, is it the president's stance or the White House's stance that whoever these border agents are using, what seems to be whips on migrants, that they would be fired or at least never be able to do that again?
Of course, they should never be able to do it again. I don't know what the circumstances would be. It's obviously horrific, the footage. I don't have any more information on it, so let me venture to do that, and we'll see if there's more to convey. Karen, go ahead. I think, April, I absolutely understand your question. I think I've been very clear about how horrific the footage is. I don't have more information. As a U.S. official, I have a responsibility to get more context and information.
No, actually, the footage was clear about how horrific it was. It was the footage itself that was clear. It wasn't you, Miss White House Press Secretary. So, if you ask me, one of the reasons why this may be taking place is because, you know, we have a descendant of slave owners, somebody who Larry Elder believes should have gotten reparations, Joe Biden himself, whose ancestors owned enslaved people, a genealogist said.
What kind of shit is that?
And this is an article from The Hill from 9/14 of 2021. It says a genealogist who has conducted a sweeping look into President Biden's lineage says that records show some of his Scranton, PA native ancestors on his father's side owned enslaved people. Is anybody shocked?
The white people really passed meaningful laws, it would not be necessary to pass any more laws.
Because no person of color is supposed to do or say anything that makes sense.
I'm not. Alexander Bannerman, who along with presidential lineage expert Gary Boyd Roberts co-authored an article on Biden's ancestry for the winter 2021 issue of the New England Historic Genealogical Society American Ancestors magazine, told Politico. That is a long ass name for a magazine. I mean, that name is almost as long as a damn sentence. I had to take a breath in the middle of it. That he came across the findings while looking through census records and slave schedules from Maryland. According to Bannerman, the 1800 census showed that Biden's great-great-grandfather, Jesse Robinette, owned 2 enslaved people in Allegheny County. Now, Allegheny County, if you guys are familiar, is in the north. Okay, Allegheny County is, I believe, the county either next to Pittsburgh or in where Pittsburgh is located. All right, the Allegheny Mountains are there. You know what I mean? It's right in western PA, right by Ohio, as a matter of fact. Maybe about 45 minutes outside of Youngstown, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, I want to say. Thomas Randall enslaved a 14-year-old boy in Baltimore County. The researcher also told Politico that Randall and his family moved elsewhere in Baltimore County in 1860, at which point they owned a single male slave, according to census records. The president has long highlighted the Irish roots from his mother's family, the Finnegans. Now, what I find interesting is that people always say that the Irish were slaves. Now, we all know that the Irish were actually indentured servants and not slaves. But what I find the most interesting about this is that this shows that these Irish people were elevated above black people and allowed to own black slaves. Just like the first black conservative, the proud black conservative who all of the black conservatives follow his example, Anthony Johnson. He's the reason why other black people were enslaved here in the United States. Politico noted that Bannerman and Roberts do not include Biden's ancestral ties to slavery in their academic article, with the authors arguing that it is fairly common for Americans with colonial-era roots to have enslaved people connected in their family's history. No shit, that's why they owe us reparations. Bannerman argued that Biden's ties to slavery are not nearly as strong as many other American families. That's not how it worked for World War II. If you happen to be associated with SS, you were rounded up and either deported, taken for Operation Paperclip, or sentenced at the Nuremberg trial. So please miss me with this mail-splaining. Not a lot of ancestors and not a lot of slaves, he told Politico. However, the genealogist said that the article does include a reference to Biden's ancestor, Alan Robinette, who had a distant tie to Verna Ann Banks Hallowell, the wife of Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Is anyone surprised by that? The Hill has reached out to the White House for comment. Well, why do you think it's called the White House? Elected officials' ties to slavery has become a topic of particular interest in recent years, with analysis of historical census records showing that a number of public figures, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and former Representative Beto O'Rourke, had ancestors who owned enslaved people. O'Rourke addressed his family's history in July 2019 in a Medium post, writing, "We all need to know our own story as it relates to the national story, much as I'm learning mine, while not paying reparations. It is only then I believe that we can take the necessary steps to repair the damage done and stop visiting this injustice on the generation that follows ours," O'Rourke. So he doesn't really care about what went on. What he just wants to do is just to get people to stop talking about, "Oh, stop talking about this." Yeah, not so much. This is something that everybody should wear. Just like we have to wear the brands of your last names, because I'm not Irish and I have an Irish last name. You need to wear the brand of what you did. And that's just how I feel about it. Man, if you don't like it, well, you just don't like it. It doesn't change how I feel. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you already know what to do. Make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. Make sure that you catch Izzy 420 High, also known as Reality Check Virtual Radio and Blacklight Revelations, every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Clubhouse. All right. And with that being said, peace.